Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right. Let's see. Where did that? I was waiting to see where the cat went. He tries to sneak behind me so he can get up on the table there. So I apologize for that little period of quiet. Okay, so the card that we have tonight is the Aeon, or Judgment card. And this is a card that is related to resurrection, decision-making, rebirth through change, self-work, introspection. Okay. All right. This is my third reading tonight, and there have been, I think in all three readings, the large mountain or volcano. This is really a motif that seems to be quite important. Okay, so I want to start first with this. Let's get this tea off of there before it shifts anything while I'm talking about it. We have a person with their arms raised, and it looks like they're reaching for a flower. We also have a person here this is the person, and it looks like their arms are raised out to what looks like a star to me. Okay. I also see when we turn this, it looks like this is a person with their arms open and a person kind of walking into their arms, that flower. So what this tells me is that you are kind of a glorious light in this often dark world. You are somebody that people look towards for, inspiration, for comfort, for understanding. You make people feel safe. They're drawn to you and to your light. You are like a beacon. And I believe that there is somebody in your life who I think that you must know socially, or maybe it's somebody you work with. I don't think it's necessarily like a family member or a good friend or anything like this, more of an acquaintance. But I do think that this person is very drawn to you because of their own pain. They're vulnerable. They're going through something. They are troubled in some way. Trying to find themselves, trying to find some kind of meaning. But I think that you have been so kind to them. You maybe have remembered their name. And this is right here. This is this image to me. You've maybe remembered their name. details about them. You ask them how their day is, and this might not seem like a big deal to you. But I feel like most other people kind of ignore them. They feel unseen, forgotten, you know, just kind of invisible in the world. And I think this is really painful for them to exist in this way. But because you have taken just moments out of your day to say hello, good morning, how are you doing? You know, remembering them. Asking them about their pets or their mom or whatever. I feel like, and here's a little angel, and I see a person kind of reaching towards the sky again. I feel like you're like an angel to them. I mean, I really do. And you might kind of scoff at this, but if you have ever been in a place in your life where you have felt insignificant, you know, bullied or put down or just kind of left behind, for somebody to show you a kindness, I mean, that means everything. It gives you hope. And I think that you give this person hope. I feel that I look at this figure here, and it looks like some kind of animal, right? Maybe a dog of some kind, and it looks like it's balancing on the peak of this mountain. And I feel like this person in your life, you know, they suffer, and I think they're lonely. A lot of us are lonely, aren't we? I mean, really, it's part of the human condition, but the way the world is, the way we are so busy, so kind of socially separated, because of just, you know, how tired people are, I think, overworked, but also we're all on our phones. You know, we don't pay attention to each other. We don't really spend a lot of time with one another. You know, before I had a family, I remember, and I mean, of course, I have to say, this was more by choice. I wanted to be alone, but I could go days without seeing anybody. And where I lived, I had all these neighbors who were elderly. And all of them were lonely. I think they thought I was pretty off my rocker because I kind of thrived in being alone. You know, I really liked it until I met my husband, of course. He's freaking wonderful. But, you know, but I saw, like, firsthand how lonely people really get when they are alone and they don't have any kind of, you know, big social outlets. They don't, their families, you know, grown up, gone away, moved away, married, have kids, they're busy, whatever. And they don't choose to be alone, but they are. And they you know, they don't know about the world. I mean, I had people that I lived with, they didn't have the internet. I couldn't believe that. I mean, I've had the internet since I was 12. I'm like, you know, I grew up on the internet. So, but, you know, living out in the middle of nowhere, kind of, there are a lot of people who still, they don't partake. And so I really saw how devastating being isolated like this could be. And I think that it happens even for younger people. I mean, even people who are on the internet, who, even people who are very social, who have friends, but don't feel heard or seen. They feel alone in the crowd, unnoticed. You know, and to some degree, within reason, of course, it is our job to take care of each other, to check in with each other, to say hello to each other. You know, to be inclusive of one another, of each other's wellness. It doesn't have to be more than a how are you. It's something I do love about living in the Midwest. Everybody says, even if you don't like each other, especially kind of if you don't, this is a weird passive aggressive thing, but I like it because people aren't just straight up mean, but there's a passive aggressive thing. But you always say, how are you doing? How's it going? You wave to every person you drive by, you know? And yeah, it's different from where I grew up, you know. But I like it. And I think it's important for us to be each other's, you know, verification that we're still alive. And I think this person, they teeter sometimes with dark thoughts. And, you know, I think that the interactions they have with you maybe helps them get through the day on some level. Okay? It might not be, you know, the most important thing in their whole world, but it helps. And so I say all of this because you need to know your significance. You are so important. And you yourself might struggle with similar feelings. But for whatever reason, you go out of your way to make people feel like they're there. And you see them and you know them. And that is, I mean, important work. It really is. And I applaud you for doing that. And yeah, sometimes we have crappy days and, you know, we don't say hello and we avoid, you know, we avoid the neighbor or, you know, hide when the mailman comes around or, you know, we see somebody at the store and, oh gosh, they're going to talk so much. I'm just going to run down this other aisle real quick. Okay, we all do it. But most of the time, I think that you really show up for people. You are very giving of yourself. And I hope that others do the same for you. Okay. And there goes the cat. She's tearing up her little scratcher, if you can hear her. And so over here, I'm seeing all these groups of, these ones look like slugs to me. This one kind of looks like a rabbit. But then we have a little snail right here. And then, I don't know, maybe like a little reptile or something. But just kind of all these little animals coming together, grouping together, almost kind of oddly, right? Have you ever seen like those videos where there's just like different kinds of animals that hang out and they don't seem like they'd be friends, but they are, like a fox and a cat or something, or like a bear and a mountain lion, or I don't know, you know, but they become friends. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like feel like over time in your life, you have, I feel like you've always been a person. You just kind of get along with anybody. Not anybody, but most people, right? And you've made friends with people that don't necessarily like fit your aesthetic, okay? And, you know, as we get older, who cares about that? That's silly. But when you're younger, yeah, your little subcultures are pretty, you know, can be pretty different. And so I feel like you really have just kind of gotten to know different people. It has made you open. It's made you less judgmental about the world. Your worldview is probably so varied and flexible and growing and fluid, and I think this makes you enjoy life in a way that some people never get to. They never get to because they have rigid, dogmatic ideas about things. And that in its own way is kind of a prison, you know. And I think this is all part of this kind of being a light. I think that the way that you speak to people, things that you talk about, and I'm not talking about, you know, proving points or trying to talk politics or anything like this. I just think that the way that you live in your kindness and your speaking highly of people, I don't think that you trash talk people very often. I think that, you know, you will stand up for others. You protect others' names, even when they're not there. This kind of thing. You lead by example. I think that you not only are somebody who helps those who feel maybe lost, disenfranchised, alone, but you also help people who just are a little bit callous about life. They don't know how to act with others. They are not careful with others. And then the way that you behave changes the energy of how other people behave. You bring in a frequency that is different. And that's a beautiful thing. Over here, I want to say, this one looks like a face, okay, with a nose, and then a person kind of sticking their tongue out. And I have to say that I feel like this is a person who passed on, that somebody from your life, like a family member that you love, but they were very silly. And I feel like as we talk about this, there's this feeling of this person kind of being silly and like, you know, don't let them take themselves too seriously. And that's I think that's part of like where you get your ability to move through life in the way that you do, is that I think you grew up around somebody who was pretty funny, clever, and loving and silly. Kind, not mean silly, not mean funny, but kind. And just kind of, you know, had silly little jokes and made you feel at ease because they had, you know, when things got a little too emotionally difficult or heated within the home, there was kind of this silliness that would come up. And I feel like maybe they passed away, but they are coming through for you, okay? And kind of saying like, yes, all of this is true, but don't take yourself too seriously. You know, and I kind of feel like they're sticking out their tongue, kind of winking at you maybe. Okay, let's take a look over here. And it looks like I almost get the impression that you will be maybe staying somewhere different for a couple nights coming up here soon, or going on a little vacation, a visit somewhere. I see a person kind of walking to this home, but it doesn't feel like your home. I almost wonder, are you going to be staying for like about 3 nights? And I see a bird that's kind of flying down to get something. I see a little flower. I feel like this is going to be an enjoyable little break. And I feel like there's going to be a takeaway of something meaningful for you, even if that is just a break in itself, kind of, allowing yourself to decompress. But just a little bit of really that divine beauty, the sunlight breaking through. I really think that this is kind of the feeling of your little rejuvenating thing that's happening. So I hope you enjoy yourself, and if that's not real soon, maybe take it into your own hands and take some time off of work or whatever you have going on and plan something for yourself, even if it's one of those, what do they call that, a staycation, where you just stay home, make the backyard your happy little universe. Okay, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it's helping us get into the algorithm and growing the channel. We've just gone over 12K subscribers, and I just can't believe it. Every time we hit a little, go up another little bit, I just am amazed and so thankful. So if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read them all and I try to get back to them really quickly. Sometimes it's like 2 minutes later. Sometimes it's, a whole day later. It just depends on what's going on here at the house. So I want to thank you so much, and we will talk again really soon, Sagittarius.